Did you know that on this day, exactly 150 years ago in 1875, Harvard defeated Yale 4-0 in the first ever college football game with uniforms? And I know 4-0 is an absolutely insane score for a football game. Surprisingly, that's the only really big piece of football history for today. However, in the baseball world, in 1900, the Baltimore Orioles entered the American League, where they would, of course, be moved a few years later to New York, and of course, are now what we know as the New York Yankees. The five major sports did not have a whole lot of news for today, so that is actually it for the baseball world as well. But in basketball, in 1964, Bob Pettit became the first ever NBA player to score 20,000 points. No hockey history for today, but in the world of soccer, in 2017, Italy failed to qualify for the 2018 World Cup for the first time since 1958 after a playoff defeat against Sweden. Now, that's about it for all of the five major sports news. However, there is a bunch of different miscellaneous sports history that also happened on this day. For example, in 1954, the first ever rugby league in Parc des Princes, I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name. It is a French name, and I do not speak French. I tried to learn the pronunciation. I just simply couldn't, so I do apologize. But it is, of course, in Paris, where Great Britain would defeat France 16-12. On this day in 1982, in the world of boxing, it was an absolutely heartbreaking one because WBA lightweight champion Ray Mancini would defeat Duk Koo Kim, I apologize if I said his name wrong, by TKO in the 14th round in Las Vegas, which would ultimately result in the death of Kim just 4 days later. And because of this, the WBC shortened its fights to 12 rounds, paving the way for the WBO to do so in 1988 and the IBF to do so in 1989. Rest in peace, Duk Koo Kim. Going on the complete opposite side of the world for this next piece of history, in 2014, Indian cricket batsman Rohit Sharma sets a new one-day international record of 264 runs off 173 balls against Sri Lanka, which still stands to this day by a pretty good margin, with the runner-up of this record only having 237. And finally, for our last piece of history from November 13th, this one going back to 2017 and probably my favorite news from all of today, the first ever Barbie doll to wear a hijab was unveiled in New York, of course, modeled after Olympic fencer Ibtihaj Muhammad. A lot of important sports history on this day, but